I'm doing this in honor of my boys that were killed. So you got FBI actually as a rogue agency utilizing Hollywood as being the ones that are supposed to be the guards at the door, but they're gold cloaks like Game of Thrones. They're the ones that stab you in the back. So I think we're about to go from a really dumb world to a really smart world once we get rid of the spin machine that these agencies have utilized, and with Hollywood. And you're going to see a big change in leadership. Democrats, Republicans, all of them have been part of the game. A certain prime minister has control of a lot of world leaders, which is one thing in the Immortals too, about controlling all world leaders to get to agree to a mortal society and its program. So you see this thing about Mossad infiltrating Hollywood and having dirt on basically every leader under the Epstein files. And so they got dirt on everybody. They can push a button, call a war.
Why hasn't an attorney or a group of attorneys or a big attorney firm contact you and say, you know what, dude, you got such a strong case. I want to fight this for you.
The answer.
It's pro bono. Let's expose these bastards.
The Mel Carmine Show begins in just 1 minute. Support the movement. Visit QFS1776.com for exclusive one-of-a-kind merch that makes a powerful statement. Protect your wealth. Cash is trash. Go to carminesgold.com and secure real assets, silver, gold, delivered anywhere in the U.S. Text Mel at 786-704-8817. Looking to acquire XRP? Minimum is $10,000 investment, and there is no limit, even up to $100 million worth. Again, text Mel with full details at 786-704-8817 and allow up to 24 hours for a response. And if by chance you're visiting Cape Canaveral or you are a local, visit stayingalive.com, alive with 2 E's, and recharge your body at the cellular level. The show with your host, Mel Carmine, starts right now.
Well, guys, we got Tom Althouse up on deck. Tom and I become pretty good friends. Tom happens to be very good friends with Roseanne Barr, and Tom is the guy, the actual original guy who wrote the screenplay to the movie The Matrix, the real Matrix, that Warner Brothers stole it from him, and then they gave it to the Wachowski brothers, and they wined them and dined them and got them a bunch of girls and, a couple of the lines of cocaine, and the rest was history. And he's out millions and millions of dollars because someone made a lot of money on that movie, because it was a great, great movie, made a ton of money for Warner Brothers, and I'm sure it made a ton of money for the Wachowski brothers as well. So, Tom, why don't you tell the people, by the way, he's going to be at the Quantum Summit, the Junior Quantum Summit in Cape Canaveral. Now, if by chance we knew for sure that, Roseanne Barr can make it, we probably would have to hold that a secret, because if we made that public knowledge, we would probably sell out the tickets in like 12 seconds. But we don't know yet if that's going to happen. But if it did, I'm sure she's probably going to say, Tom, make sure you tell Mel that I don't want it to be announced. I'll just make a cameo appearance, etc., because they're such good friends. But anyway, there might be a few cameo appearances from other people that I'm not allowed to discuss as well. Tom, welcome to the show. Why don't you tell the people the story, which is an amazing story, and it needs to be told. Everybody in the world should know about this story, and everybody should really be pounding their fist on the table saying to Warner Brothers, give this guy his money. You know what I mean? Because that's exactly what they need to do. Welcome to the show, brother.
Thanks, Mel. Yeah, I would definitely agree with that idea. It's been a very rough road. And if anybody's familiar with the alien agenda too, how the government dealt with that, you find a policy where they use debunking and slurring and smearing as part of their thing. They bring in low-level people to, shut you down and start all kinds of rumors and stuff to try to make your solid evidence look like it's weak. And it's just insane how hard they apply that kind of policy. So the more that you have proof, the more stronger your proof, then you're going to be hit harder. And that includes the murder of your sons, wiping your line out. It's connected back to Mossad. It's connected back to the agencies. It's like these guys are in bed with the Hollywood group. It's all about power and influence. And one of the things, like I said, I hold this up a lot, this screenplay cannot be denied, gold sealed, blue bolded, PAU number right on there, which is the, you can look up the Copyright Office, PAU 2304074. That's one of the entries in the Copyright Office for the 128 pages of the Matrix story. Jackson X, Squiddies, Red Pill, Blue Pill, all that's in there. And even, they stuck my name in, Thomas A. as Neo. They stuck my high school in the dossier in the first interrogation scene. There's my high school, there's my birthday, there's my fiance's birthday as Neo's, there's my dad's name, come on. And ChatGPT said, it's 1 in 333 trillion that this would be by accident, yet the attorneys provided by Warner Brothers, who are all defense attorneys to throw my case, said it's coincidental. So it's like, we got these guys now that are coming on the air that are like, this one guy did 20 episodes already. They bring them to you, they say they want to help you, then suddenly they're trashing you all over the place. And for this, like how they spin stuff, they took this document right here, this proof, and said, oh, Tom bought it from the Copyright Office. Now, that's a nice spin, Mel. That's a nice spin because the only way you're going to get this is if you pay the Copyright Office researchers the fees to look up the PAU number on record, and they do this so you can prove that this is your work. So anybody can go to the website and see this is listed from 1993, 96, 98. This is the 1998 version used in set 99. So it's not purchasing screenplay. It's actually going in and having it researched. They can draw up the proof that you deposited that's back in that year. So the way they spin everything is just insane, and they really believe audiences are going to get that. So I think we're about to go from a really dumb world to a really smart world once we get rid of the spin machine that these agencies have utilized, and with Hollywood. And You're going to see a big change in leadership. Democrats, Republicans, all of them have been part of the game. So it's like, one of the biggest things the Republican Party did that was a big accident was mixing with the religious right. You should never have got into Pat Robertson's agenda. You should never have mixed in with the religious right, because they are a soak-it-up team of entitled. They feel like God has given them entitlement to be different than any of you others, and that they can take whatever they want from you, even your wives and daughters. So mixing with the religious right was one of the biggest mistakes the Republican Party ever did, because now that's like taking in the spider that's going to just, build a web all through your organization. So they got a long way to go to shed themselves of that.
Interesting. Now, have you ever filed a lawsuit against them? Have you ever maybe gotten a couple of common law attorneys to really take this on pro bono and certain, you know what I mean?
That's a good question, Mel, because what they're saying now, like besides saying, he bought this from the Copyright Office, which is just, come on, it's like, then they're saying things like, he's been in and out of court so many times. I've been in court because they've supplied their own attorneys who came in and said, we got to do this for you. And I'm like, back then, having lost everything, okay. And they put me in there, and then they try to create a string of them controlling with defense attorneys. They're all defense attorneys. Right. I haven't had really a prosecuting attorney yet. It's all been defense attorneys. But what's really wild is, here's the clincher, we never got to claim Matrix. They brought these defense attorneys in. They were all classmates from University of Berkeley Law, School of Law. And they're like, one has a suspended license. They're all palling together. And they come to solicit me to represent me. Even the handoff guy, Rios and Associates, also brought in to solicit me. And it's like, what they did was they kept me from claiming Matrix 1. They said, no, just claim the sequels. And I'm like, no, all the stuff, the interrogation scene, that's all in Matrix 1. That's just a coincidence. And so what they did was they had me under this illegal contract, which ChatGPT tore apart, has 5 red flags, and also a criminal clause. This contract is unbelievable. And it's like, that bound me to them. Otherwise, there'd be harsh penalties. And there's a lot more than this. But no, we've never had a Matrix case. We never had legitimate representation. So their thing about, oh, he's been in and out, court so many times. We've never had a court trial yet for the Matrix. We never had legitimate corporations or
well, maybe we should put the word out there, Tom. Is there any attorneys out there that would like to take on this wonderful case pro bono? Because when they do stuff like this to us, what happens to us? We go broke. Okay,
Yeah, that's the whole thing. That's part of it. Yeah,
you know
that's
what I
part of
mean?
it. Yeah, not mentioning killing your sons off and taking your daughter. The law firm Rios and Associates from Pasadena originally, in Pasadena right now, from Texas. They get this, Mel. Get this.
Hmm.
Those listening, they actually supplied his nephew, uh, Jacob Rios, to when they're throwing my case in 2014 to date my daughter
Hmm.
and to marry her and estrange me from me. I'll never see my granddaughter.
Wow.
And so what happened was they got her roped in with this honeypot guy wife, bringing her in to marry Jacob Rios, who's related to the firm that was the last firm to throw our case, a defense firm
Interesting.
from Pasadena, California. So talk about sleeping with the enemy. So
Yeah.
I'm like,
Right.
that's how they play. And you look at Joel Silver. Joel Silver, the guy who claims that well, it depends on where Warner Bros. At. They'll say he has nothing to do with the Matrix. They had this defense
Right.
attorney saying nothing to do with the Matrix. Then you see that he's on the credits for it. And he's talking about it all the time, and that he owns it, part of it. But Joel Silver, his bodyguards are Mossad. So you see this thing about Mossad infiltrating Hollywood and having dirt on basically every leader under the Epstein files. And so they got dirt on everybody. They can push a button, call a war, and
Sure.
have our country bomb people because they got dirt. I mean, it's just, and I'm told these
It's
things
endless,
by
bro.
producers. Yeah. So what happens to me, Mel? Producers call me and say, "Yeah, Tom, by the way," they give me information about what's going on because they're saying, "You need to come home, Tom. You need to come home. We're the ones that know you wrote it." I mean, Hollywood guys, we're the ones that know you wrote it. Attorneys will say from Hollywood, we're their biggest fans. We know that you did this, and your real life story is even bigger than the script itself, and we're part of that, and you need to come home and work with us, and you'll be a script doctor, and the public's too stupid to get this. They're shooting you down. That's why they bring in low levels, to
Hmm.
shoot. So you come home, and suddenly you're ripping off other people's work, and you're part of the club, the
Yeah.
billionaires club. So I've had that invitation extended a number of times, and I'm told that my last surviving son is alive. That's an extension of it because they said, quote, "We know you're concerned for your last son's safety. So come on board the Lolita Express."
Interesting. Interesting.
Yeah.
So, did you ever get to work in Hollywood in any
Yeah.
capacity?
Yeah.
And did you ever get to meet a lot of the people that many of us looked up to in the
Yeah.
80s and 90s and worshiped
Oh,
them?
absolutely. My God, yes. In fact, Tom Hanks was supposed to be my mentor along with Ron Howard. That was done through Will Geer's daughter from the
Hmm.
Waltons. Remember Grandpa Walton? Yeah, Ellen
Right.
Geer. She was so sweet. Ellen Geer, just one of them, had brought me in to Will Geer his long title, Will Geer Theatricum Botanicum. Look it up, Topanga
Hmm.
Canyon. So she brings me in as the lead for Midsummer Dream and introduced me to the casting director of Fraser and all this other stuff. She said, "We're going to put you in the front pages of the Hollywood News," and there I was on Dramalog, front page in front of MGM Studios on the newsstand with
Hmm.
Susan Angelo, posing with her in costume. So she was good to her word. She said, "I'm just going to pay you to water the roses. You got star quality. We'll keep you in." So I had a lot of rewards for performing, and I was mixing with top guys. And then Ellen told me something interesting. She said, "It's really bad here. It's really bad. This is really some bad people." And she's letting me know that. And that's when I
Yeah.
was submitting in 2000, what was it, 1996, I resubmitted my screenplay to Warner Brothers with, improvements on the battle
Hmm.
sequences. And so there I am at Ellen Geer's, theater complex in Topanga Canyon, beautiful there with the white cliffs by it, which are part of this mountainside. And it's like she has given me my own room. I get free meals. I get to stay there. I get to, like you said, water the roses, and I get to design this new outdoor theater. And I am full staff, full on, because she said, you have star quality. And then her mom, I don't know if you know her, Herta Ware.
Hmm.
Herta Ware was from Austria and was married to Will Geer. So Ellen Geer's dad was Grandpa Walton, Will Geer. And Herta Ware was from Austria, elegant lady, beautiful lady. And she, in her trailer on the property, she was like calling Abrams, talent agencies and things like that. And she was hooking me up with everybody.
Hmm.
And it got so like I'd walk around town in LA and everything, and I'd be like, "This isn't my kind of town at all." People were saying, "We know you're not from here because you're opening doors for everybody."
Hmm.
I'm like, it was a very like claw your way to the top atmosphere I was sensing. It's like, in fact, when I was auditioning for Ellen Gear's theater, she had me come out and audition. My picture was taken from the stack. So the
Wow.
stage manager named Anna, who was Morgan Freeman's mistress, believe it or not, stage manager Anna, she was really sweet though. Yeah. And she told me all about this. She said that she was asking, where's Tom's picture? Where's Tom's picture? She put it back in. So there was a guy that got jealous in the staff that took my picture out. So otherwise I would never have that connection. So it's cutthroat in Hollywood. It really is. There
Right.
was another guy that wanted to be a lead role. I guess he wanted the role I wanted. And there was this party going on, and a beer bottle went zooming right by my nose and hit the wall and shattered. And it was that guy throwing it at me. It's like, that's how it is out there. It's like all
That's amazing, bro.
Yeah. That's part of the story you never really hear, but that's it. Anyway, here we are. So, but everything has changed. I mean, one of the things I want to share at your event too, and others, is what's been restored. I mean, just a teaser. I mean, okay. So you got the CIA is the backstory.
Mm-hmm.
The Immortals, and with a piece I held up, right, with the squiddies and the Jack's neck and the robot-like agents and all that. Incidentally, Joel Silver got it wrong on robot-like agents. He pitched it as robots in the program, which makes no sense at all. Robots in a program sounds redundant. But if you have real-life people in a program, it's like Tron, real-life people in a program where they are subject to a room of monitors, where if they show feeling, they're terminated, the stakes are much higher. Robot can turn on emotions like Data from Star Trek, but you cannot do that as a human being. So as you're doing all these horrendous things, if you show feeling, you are monitored from the room of monitors, not from the architect, but from Smith.
Interesting.
That's what it's supposed to be. So they reversed everything around. So what you got is, so that idea of robot-like agents was something Joel Silver got wrong in Matrix. But then as soon as the case was thrown by these defense attorneys that didn't let us claim Matrix 1, where they said, since you're not claiming Matrix 1, I'm like, I want to claim it. Since you're not claiming Matrix 1, don't shut them up. Don't even let me say anything. That's how they worked. Then any matchups in the sequels don't count. So therefore, there's no matchups. There's 190 plus, including robot-like agents, Jack's the back of the neck, red pill, blue pill, little girl train station, little girl's face, the facing off, pointing the sun, all that and more. And so what you got is, and I'm passionate about it. I talk fast about it. I'm passionate about this. This is my baby, right?
Sure.
Given to slobbering slobs. So what happens is that just shredded it. So you've got this situation where Joel Silver then gets it right in Oblivion. Disney held Oblivion for him, and they put robot-like agents in there and identical figures and the little girl pointing to the son or the man. At the end, it's like, that's our exact ending. Incidentally, too, the Wachowskis on set, they admitted in articles that everyone said to blow it up because what did they do? They took this piece and a visual storyboard lifting all the images they thought were cool. And off of that, they made it up on set as they went along, which is pretty stupid when you got union wage people waiting for the next thing. That's why they filled in what they were familiar with, like Trayman from Ghost and Necromancer, Dark City, all that stuff was filling in the gaps, right? And at the same time, that's why they dumbed it down so bad, because they were in a rush making up as they went along. Now, Joel Silver on set in 2003 is quoted as saying, he's on set. He just finished shooting. And he goes, yeah, we hope when we watch the rushes, the last takes, that it'll tie together. We hope that we used up the rest of the story. Theft, anyone? So anyway, this is the only copyright on a Matrix story. And in fact, Warner Brothers doesn't claim Matrix title, they claim Immortals. And if they venture into Sophia Stewart, she was brought in to be a first claimant. She never wrote a screenplay. She wrote 33 pages, she calls it her manuscript, 33 pages of gobbledygook about Star Trek and the Bible blended together. I mean, if you're going to plagiarize something, why not pick the best? And so she mixes that together in 33 pages. Mine's 128. In film time in Hollywood, a minute is a page. So 128 minutes. Hers is 33. Hers is like less than a sitcom of Gilligan's Island. So what you got is nothing to do with Matrix, nothing to do with Terminator, but she's made a plausible claimant by Warner Brothers bringing her in the house as a failed writer, just like they brought the Wachowskis in as a failed writers. As they said in an article in 95, they failed as writers on Assassins, had to leave Hollywood unless they could direct a project, and they wanted the science project. So this is the whole lay of it. I know what I'm talking about. I know what I got. And now the top level of society, the ones that have the power, a lot of the intellects, the people from NASA, things like that, these guys are now saying, yeah, Tom's one of us. Let's have him win. So now I am enjoying a different world of favor where they want my story to come forward. And that's what happens to Neo in the story. Neo actually
we should make a documentary about your story about them stealing the entire
yeah,
thing.
yeah,
Are you up for it?
Oh yeah, your timing would be perfect right now because guess what? Now we got the CIA supporting us. They want it to happen. They're figuring, let's not work with the bad guys, let's work with the good guys. But you know what? That's what Neo does in the real work. He's a former CIA guy that actually is trying to help the world make immortality and longevity available to all, right? And the Neurolink in an equal measure for all. And what happens is he's taken on by the Smith and the agents, but it's so wild because that's what's happening in real life. I'm trying to say yes to the CIA operatives and things like this, saying, let me do my thing to try to make it a better world for everyone. And I'm your guy. And so now I'm able to do it exactly what Neo did. He was into the program. He was advanced by the architect in the original work, And he gets to kind of finish the job with Eternity and everything and other good people. In the original work, the CIA operatives, which becomes central, CIA becomes central in central, policing body in the New World Order. And we're probably going to have that. Well, what happens is they actually join our side, underground side in the end, because the architect is purging them. Now, why is the architect purging them? Doesn't need them anymore. Right. He needed them stimulation of the mind. I think some people can get this. If you're an immortal architect in a program, your mind needs to be stimulated. So he created this idea of conflict where free will has no power and he knows everyone's choices. And so what happens is the conflict feeds him until he has the clever plan of what Pat Robertson had with the agencies in Hollywood, which was to do an Operation Blue Book, faked second coming. And that's what I put in the screenplay. In 1993, it's all there. The faked second coming. I mean, my God, it's all here. Anyway, Mel, I'm dominating.
No, you're good. No, you're good. I mean, I'm just like, you're talking. You're so passionate about what you know to be true because you made it, right? You did you put this whole thing together, and then somebody just takes the rug from underneath your feet because they're worth billions and trillions of dollars and they got all the power, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, that's why Roseanne.
I'm thinking you would also be an incredible screenplay on Broadway where people would come every night to come see Tom, Althouse perform the theft of the Matrix.
Right, but we have a play greenlighted for off-Broadway. The Disney group wanted us to put it on. They supplied their own person named Terry Berliner, who was the director for Lion King and Beauty and the Beast. They had a number of directors. She is one of them. Mm-hmm. And she solicited me when I was on Maui and said, yeah, I want you to be on a contract with me. And we're going to put the domestics on off-Broadway. And she was right. She had me contact the Sheen. They said, yeah. So I have a play, my Matrix for the stage, if you will, period piece, 70s. Greenlighted to go. Where the team said, we laughed out loud as delight. So I'm considered an asset, but I tried to evolve that into, I don't want to be an asset. I want to be a visionary, where you open the door for, if the agencies get the idea of let's not harness our people, let's free our people to use their genius and other visionaries to create what's possible for a better world where you don't have to whip us and have us build pyramids. We can actually, build the bricks and create out of a joy of service to humanity. Mm-hmm. So one world order is inevitable. That's one of the premises in that 1993 version, 98 also. But we can make it a good one. That's what I was telling the agencies. That's what I was trying to whisper through art, to whisper to a world. And now's the right time. So if you want to do a documentary, absolutely. And I would love to have Roseanne in it. I mean, I'm sure she'd do
that. Would be great.
Yeah. Because wait till you see what we got. Oh my God. So I feel like this, those that are picked by the agencies in the past to harass and nip at your heels, like the Sophia Stewarts, this other guy, Stephen Yassel or whatever. He's done 20 episodes of Hate Tom videos after he was actually working with me, but he felt that he'd get more attention by hating. So now he's that. And it's like unbelievable. It's like these guys are way back in the distance trying to nip at your heels and you're way out front with all the evidence. And it's so obvious that they have to spin it in such a bad way. Right. Sophia Stewart's spin is that I murdered my own sons. Are you serious? Well, that's supposed to evoke a response, and it does. I'm passionate about all this. I'm doing this in honor of my boys that were killed. They wipe out your line. They think they'll stop you. They marry your daughter off to the enemy, and they think that'll stop you. She has a grandchild that's never going to know you and think that you're evil, thanks to Pat Robertson and the film companies. That's supposed to stop you. But the thing is, nothing's going to stop us because the core purpose and reason of doing this work is to create a better world, a fairer world.
Listen,
A
you know,
world.
you don't have to be in Hollywood for kids to be raised by evil women. Like we had an incredible family, a very tight knit Italian family. We had
Yeah,
you know, an acre of land, almost an acre of land in Saddlebrook, New Jersey. We bought the mayor's house, built-in swimming pool, pizza shops, success story, all American, new cars every 2 years.
yeah,
And the
yeah.
American people are like, how do you do it? We do it by working 7 days a week and not taking a vacation every 3 months. Now you bring in these women into our family that get married to my two brothers who are have no balls, no cojones, and I'm going to use your show to air out the fact that it doesn't only happen in Hollywood; it happens in
Right.
households, right?
Oh
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah,
now you got two men. It's like I call my brother Fortune, for example. I call him Max. Max is my wife's dog. He is her shadow. Wherever she goes, the dog goes. Right? When Max is laying next to Amber at night, if you go close to Amber, Max is going to try to bite you, and then he looks at Amber for validation. Did I do good? Did I do good? Okay,
yeah.
that's my brother Fortune. Okay, he likes to
All right.
act big in front of his wife to make a lot of noise and make a lot of drama for nothing. And then he looks at his wife. Did I do good, honey? You know what I mean? Like that's what we're dealing with. But this doesn't only happen in Hollywood. This happens in households. So we got
Oh yeah.
two grandkids from both sides that don't know their uncle. They don't know, and they don't know anything. They were raised to. I know two of them were definitely raised to hate my mom. Right? I mean,
Right. Right.
ridiculous. Right?
Yeah.
So this
Same here.
happens in Hollywood. This happens in households, and I'm sure there's a lot of people out there right now that with the story that can relate because it happens in a lot of households across the
Yeah.
country.
You
Right?
know what needs to be done? Yeah, you just made me think of it. What needs to be done right now is, from what I understand, and it's all coming out now, a certain prime minister has control of a lot of world leaders, which is one thing in the Immortals too, about
Yeah.
controlling all world leaders to get to agree to a immortal society and its program.
Mhm.
Well, we're there now. And it's like all these world leaders, what they need to do is say, okay, I don't care the dirt you've stored with me with your Mossad thing. I'm going to go ahead and say, yeah, I did these things. I'm here to make a difference. You know, I'll put this before God that, you know, whatever. And stop being on a leash. Stop
Right.
controlled. Just own up. Be a man. Be an Italian dad. Own up.
Bingo. That's what I'm trying to tell. Hey,
Yeah.
Fortune, you listening out there? Be a man. You know, wear your fucking cojones, dude.
The reason Lenny Coco, who was the guy who had me pitch it to Bonaventura, his friend Bonaventura, Lenny Coco's on the Tag Records, look it up, Tag Records, which is under the Warner Brothers label as a parent label. And so he's under Warner Brothers, and he contacts me and he's like, yeah, Tom, oh, look, this is hot, red hot. Your screenplay's red hot. I'm going to pitch it to my good friend Bonaventura. Go, have me come up to Long Island. There I am, Lenny Coco, right? And he's like, yeah. He has me talk about the whole thing, explain all through. Meanwhile, Bonaventura, who claims he shepherded and discovered the Matrix story, and I'm sorry for talking fast, but, you know, those can keep up. You're the minds I'm talking to. So what happens is, you know, the fast ones, the smart ones. What happens is he loves it. He says it's revolutionary. We're making this, including the tech, Neurolink, and everything else, which is a long story I'll be sharing at your event. What happens is he's like, okay, we're doing this. We're making this. Submit it for sure. Then they got Lenny Coco to back off, right? Remember that firm I told you about, Rios and Associates, where they had the Jacob Rios, the nephew, marry my daughter and have her estranged. She's a little girl in the Matrix. She's the one in the story based on. And so what happens is that's not all. The relative of Lenny Coco is also at Rios and Associates firm, hired as a paralegal. So they're having her contact Lenny Coco years later. Best witness. He's the one that said, you're making this. I want you to write my story. Guess what happens? So she gets on the phone with us in like 2013, 2014. They're throwing her case. And they got one more thing they got to bury by pretending to be on my side, right? These are defense attorneys, you know? So they beat City Hall and everything. So she calls up, she goes like this, and I recorded the whole thing, by the way. It's really cool. This tape is amazing. So on this tape, you hear her going like, yeah, I called Lenny, and he says he doesn't remember you. You're crazy. He doesn't remember you. I called him twice, and he said you're crazy. He doesn't remember you. Why would you call him twice? Making sure Lenny's prepped. Lenny's prepped. He's going to go to the Warner Brothers line. You're on the label, right? So here comes Lenny on the phone on the third try where I'm being brought on. I'm taping. And you hear him go, what are you supposed to say? Right, Mel? He's like, you're crazy. I never met you. I'm sorry. I'm like, and this is what God gave me, what I believe, almighty power is like this. Okay, Italian dad, you got Italian, you talk as Italian father. Save the world, basically. I'm like, Lenny, it's okay. Forget it. I want to thank you anyway as a father of children and for my wife that you did this. Even if you don't remember it, it was the biggest moment in my life as a young writer, and I'm going to thank you anyway. And I'm going on like that. Then he goes like this. Well, hey, wait. Describe my house. I'm like, okay, you got this flat house. It's a rancher, and it's in Long Island, and it's really nice, but cluttered. You got this bookshelf library on the right side as you walk in the door. You got your round table right there on the left. By the stairwell going up, directly next to it, your granddaughter and your wife are sitting there along with my contingency group. And then if you look across the way, you are there standing by the bookshelf, the divider with the kitchen's right there with the refrigerator, which is olive green, up against the back window. And the phone's on that side of the window where I took that to make the call. And he's like, whoa, okay, wait. Describe my wife. Described her. Describe my daughter. Described her. You know, soft curly hair, Italian looking, brown hair, this kind of thing, 6 years old. Okay, describe me. Not to be insulting, but you're balding, you're middle-aged. You had, at the time, you had glasses on, this kind of stuff. He's like, small stature, very, slender. He's like, okay, wait. My wife remembers you. My granddaughter remembers you. You were here. They were telling me last night too. Yeah, we remember you. And now you hear the paralegal on the tape from Rios and Associates, having taken my daughter, having thrown our case, having blocked all the evidence, having kept stuff from me, going like this. You're vindicated. You're vindicated. You're vindicated. She's saying you're vindicated, but it was never entered evidence, but it'll be entered into documentary. Wait to hear this, right? And so, I'm passionate about it. So what happens is I'm in tears. Lenny's in tears. Here you go. Now he's saying where he started with you're crazy. Now he's going, call me anytime. Here's my number. I want you to write my life story. That's what he did when we first pitched it. Proof that we pitched it to Bonaventura, which is direct access, which means in Hollywood, you win your freaking case because direct access, that kind of direct access where you're talking to Bonaventura, the executive claims that still on Wikipedia that he discovered and shepherded, means that there is a theft. It's called the inverse ratio rule in the Western Division. Anybody look it up. And you'll see that if you have direct access like that, you don't even need matchups. We got 190 anyway. So look at this game that's being played, the gamemanship. Defense attorneys only, suspended licenses, running the clock out, saying you can't claim Matrix 1, and then saying there's no matchups you can claim from Matrix 1 that's in 2 and 3, so there's no matchups, and then claiming after you throw it that, okay, it's one seamless piece, so you can't claim Matrix 1, there's no matchups, you have no matchups. Wait, stop, time out. There's no matchups because you're not allowed to claim 1, so any matchups in 1 can't be used for 2 and 3. Is there still matchups? Is there still hydrogen and water? It's still there, isn't it? But they're going, no, they don't exist because you can't claim them for 2 and 3. Now we're going to switch it up where we're going to say it's one seamless piece, so there's no matchups because you couldn't claim Matrix 1. We said because you can't claim the matchups in Matrix 1, you can't claim in 2 and 3. Is anybody getting this? So therefore, there's no matchups? There's 190 in the whole shebang. Look how they did this. They also did a stipulation order which was signed against my express demands. I said, I will never absolutely refuse to sign a stipulation order that says that all evidence will be seen by attorney's eyes only, not judge, jury, or plaintiff. Are you kidding me? And they said it'd be signed in perpetuity, forever. The provided attorney said, Rankin with a suspended license, he said, you have to sign this to go in. And behind my back, when I said no way, he submitted it anyway without my signature. And they ruled on it that way. Can you believe this?
Oh, yeah.
So they don't have any evidence. Anyway, here we are. A documentary would expose it all. Great stuff. I mean, Batman and Bill, I had paparazzi tell me that Batman and Bill, the one key evidence in Batman and Bill, great documentary, by the way, on the Batman guy, that said that Fingers, whatever his name was, Bill Finger, that they had a cassette tape playing it was the best evidence during the documentary was just a tape cassette saying that, the one guy who profited off it saying, yeah, Bill really got a raw deal, basically. Something like that, paraphrase.
Sure.
So we've got Lenny Coco on there going like, you're crazy, you're crazy. You were here. Oh my God, yeah, you're vindicated, you're vindicated. It's like, oh my God, you're making it. Woo!
Listen, can you see my screen if I show you my screen?
Yeah, go ahead. I see your screen.
You see my screen? It's a black screen, right?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear it play. I'm very qualified, by the way, to make a documentary. This proves it. Okay, this is
getting this though?
Oh
this
yeah, of course. This is
yeah,
mind
like, oh
blowing.
my God. That's why I don't care what people think. I'm like so celebrating that we got them by the balls now.
Yeah. This is the actual Dear Mr. President Part 2, which is called Dear Mr. President, Show Me the Money, a movie about the straw man, all the money they stole from us. See, you were not the only one they stole money from. They steal money from everybody.
Yeah.
Okay,
Of course.
And give me a thumbs up if you can hear the actual thing playing. Ready?
Go ahead.
It's a trailer. I'm about to tell you a story that is going to absolutely piss off a lot of people in the United States of America. What if everything you've ever known is a lie? Because I'm going to tell you right now, we're going to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that we've been bamboozled in ways that you can't even imagine. From the creator who dared to question everything in Dear Mr. President comes a revelation so explosive it will shatter your perception of reality. This is the biggest scam ever, and your government, it thinks that you are stupid.
And the whole fake system that is set up, it's all fake.
The straw man, the greatest heist in history. Before your first breath, a covert system claimed you a ghostly double made of paper, a financial slave in a world you can't even see.
The straw man. I am not that fucking straw man. That's not me. I am not all cap letters. I am me.
They've used your name as currency, trading your life in a game rigged from the start. Basically, when you're born, they put some little ink underneath your feet, and they give you the all caps name on your social security or social slave number, okay? And that's exactly what you are. That is your bond number. Every document, every signature, every debt is an elaborate illusion. You go get a marriage license, it's a bond. You get divorced, it's a bond. You get a driver's license, it's a bond. You get a fishing license, it's a bond. You get a hunting license, it's a bond. You get a ticket, that ticket gets traded. Driver's license, insurance, all of this nonsense. These are all bonds that are being traded in your name, and they're making billions and trillions of dollars. Once you know the truth, you hold the power to choose. The system will fight back. It will try to silence you, erase you. The choice is yours. Tom, we're going to shake every foundation of every government, of every office, of every scam, and God's creation, starting in the United States. I need this movie to just grow massive legs. If you got a social security number, you have a social slave number, that means you were scammed. That means you're worth hundreds of millions, potentially billions, and you've been scammed. And I'm telling you, we're going to expose this in the biggest way. But we expose it only if you get pissed off enough and say, you know what? He's right. I'm sending this movie to everybody I know because we prove it beyond a shadow of a doubt. My wife pays a bill online, and 4 days later we say, we got a receipt saying, oh, thank you, your payment was successful. And then 4 days later, it's not successful. Wait a minute. Is there money in there? Or is there? Of course there's money in there. They just don't want you to have it. And if you keep doing it and trying to pay your bills with the back of your social security number, if you know how to do it, like my wife, who's very smart, along with 7 other people, the reality is you get a knock on the door by FBI, which stands for Forever Bother Italians. Okay? And they actually arrest you for trying to access your own money. This is the reality we live in. It's called it's called the United States of America, Inc., and we're going to get rid of it. You know, tariffs is first. The External Revenue Service replaced the Internal Revenue Service. We're moving in that direction, guys, but it takes all of us to do something, okay? Keep going, brother. I love your story. If you want to see him live on stage, he's going to be in Cape Canaveral telling an amazing story. As a matter of fact, we have an extra room. In case you go into extra innings, you can have a bunch of people follow you into that room and continue your story.
Fantastic. That sounds fantastic. That's the thing I want people to realize, too, is a lot of the things they do is smoke and mirrors. We know this, where we don't really see the man or woman behind the curtain. We see like that Matrix scene with all the doors. Yeah. You know, it's like we need to actually focus on the curtain. And what's behind that curtain is something amazing. They weren't just interested in the story that I had. They were interested in the tech. This is very, very important because this tech goes along with what you're talking about, and they will replace the enslavement of the numbers with actually brain links, and it's becoming, I mean, that was what I was given. It's my tech. That's what I came up with as the author to propel the story along, and it's published. So Warner Bros. Got a big battle over me about, you didn't publish it. Oh, yeah, it's published. If it's entered into the Copyright Office, it's published. And if it's sent to you with certified mail with a tracking number and receipt, it's published. And if you have it and you're citing it right there, it's published. So we got them by the balls. And the first thing they said to me was, your work wasn't published, when they took that bogus deposition of me, which was 7.5 hours long beyond the 7-hour point. The big thing they wanted to do was claim the neuroenhancer, not Neurolink. It was called the neuroenhancer. It was also called the neurotimer. That was a warning to the world. That is published in the original work. So if you look at the name neuroenhancer, what do you think, Mel? What do you think if you think enhancer?
Well, it's gonna enhance something. It's gonna make something better than it was.
Yeah. What do you think when you take the same term, neuroenhancer, and change it to Neurolink?
Something
Link us all together.
Yeah,
link us all together.
So like a big wide internet net that sort of.
And come up with a name for doing that. How you have a big linked net. What would you call that movie?
The Starlight, what
Matrix.
Is it? The Matrix. Okay, but the thing they got in the sky. What do they call those?
Yeah, that'd be an offshoot of it.
Starlink.
Yeah, improve the name. They went from neuroenhancer, which was the original thing, and neurotimer, to Neurolink, to Matrix, to Starlink. What they're doing is they're taking it and they're claiming it in a predatory language. Mm-hmm. Where in my case, Neo was trying to, Thomas A, I didn't call him Thomas A, they named me Thomas A on that, was trying to free humanity, to enhance our cognitive, to allow us to be better thinkers and come together, link us, help our children that are feeling depressed, help us connect with others and share thoughts and ideas to advance our society in the best way possible. Help Alzheimer's patients, things like that. Sounds familiar, what they took? Yeah, that's part of their sell points, taking it the way it was. But they call it link. It's to link us, and then suddenly, here's how it works. If, say, the FBI, I call them Federal Bureau of Imbeciles, but yours is good. But what happens is the FBI has this right. They've been working with Mossad. They've been working with the Epstein files. They were the ones supposed to cleanse the files. I know this. They're cleansing the files. They're using the files the same way Mossad did. They're using it to have dirt on everybody. And if you are on, they're working with you, they'll release it. If they want to bring you down, they'll release it. They have God power now, they think, on any individual. Dirtied hands across the board on our world leaders. That's part of the one world agenda that's whispered in the Immortals. So what's going on right now? So that's why I'm saying, everybody just come clean. Just have one big party where you come forward and say, yeah, I did that, I did this, but I'm here now. What do you make a difference? Yeah, I did that, I did this, but I'm here to make a difference. Just cut the strings. Cut the strings. Don't let them keep having power going, oh my God, they're going to reveal me. They'll reveal the clips. Just reveal the clips. Just cut the strings. We'll accept it if you get on board to make a better world. All right, done with that. But neuroenhancer. Neuroenhancer just isn't neuroenhancer. Neuroenhancer, which, a neurotimer was, the reason I called it neurotimer. Neurotimer is because there's a scene in there, which is really cool, I thought. There's a scene where the Smith agent has set up a scenario where Neo's former wife, the Trinity character, right, named Julia, she actually had her memories erased and was reprogrammed with the memories Smith put in. Sort of like Blade Runner. And what happens is you got her, it was an ego trip for Smith to have Neo's wife. That was in the beginning, right? And this happened in real life? Do you know this actually happened in real life? Mike Lang of Disney is the one that started Miramax Films with the Disney group, Eisner and them, back in '93. That was to be the library of materials they didn't own, that they could then come up with a strategy to acquire. In the Vanity Fair article, when I first came forward, he left Miramax Films and Disney the same time Joel Silver was cut off of Warner Brothers, even though he owned the work. So in that article, Vanity Fair article, they talk about a New Jersey warehouse filled with hard copy scripts that Disney didn't own, that they wanted a strategy for owning. The strategy they came up with is kill the sons, kill the author, or have it look like the author took himself out of despair, which is echoed in, this is so crazy. We got to do the documentary. It's echoed in Steven Spielberg's work, Minority Report, where he twisted Minority Report to show this very thing, bragging about it, where he's talking about nanotech and everything else. And he also has in the newspaper Flash. He also has about Tom Cruise's character being, Captain John Enterton, my dad's name and rank, and that he was going to be put away in stasis because Tom Cruise's character, because Sean had been murdered. Well, my son Sean is murdered after that work comes out in 2002.
How did your son get murdered?
Sean was murdered in a X-Files death, is what I'm told by producers in Hollywood. That he was, and it looks like I don't care. I do care. I am putting it back here, all the emotions, because I got a job to do. So do I feel it? Yes, I'm doing this work in honor of him. They like to tag that and say, look, he has no compassion.
You lost 2, right?
2 were killed. I've got a phone call from a Disney attorney rep saying, when I asked her, I said, why were my sons killed? Why was this done to my family? And you hear this on the tape. It can be part of the documentary. You hear it on tape where they go, well, you were daring to face us down. You dared to face us down. I don't know if I said this before, but what does that mean, Mel? Dared to face you down?
That means you're challenging whatever it is they're trying to do to you, and they're basically thumbing their nose at you, saying we're the cabal, we're the almighty and whatever, and you can't challenge us. So
that's on thank you. That's on an MP3. And then I said, they
said gangsters. They're gangsters with a license.
Oh yeah. They feel like they can do anything they want because they can, is the word they use too.
Right.
So she goes on, this lady goes on, a lot of them are ladies. They go on and power ladies. And they're like, she's saying, I asked, why did the cars keep pulling up in front of our house and the police won't do anything about them? They're telling neighbors, they can be there. And the lady said, that's to show they can get to your last surviving son anytime they want. We know you're concerned for your last son's safety. It's on tape. So that's how that's a semi-form of dirt. That's not, since they didn't have dirt on me, they created a threat on me to manage me, right? And the whole thing was that I would not talk. If I talked, Aiden dies. And Aiden said to me, he said, he was 8 years old at the time. He said, Dad, you keep going. You keep going. If anything happens to me, don't take revenge. This 8-year-old kid, he's a genius. Such a genius. He's like, you finish this job. You finish this job.
Now, how did the other son die?
Drowning, a Masonic death. Masons. I had been in the Masons. I was recruited by a guy named Lauren Holmberg, who was part of the CIA at the time.
Are you still active with the Masons?
No, not at all. So what happens is, to get out safely, I said I put it in remission or whatever it is, where you put, you just freeze it and freeze and leave. And so what they did was Lauren Holmberg brought me in saying, like, you're a good, award-winning performer on Maui. You're written up in the journals as, the top guy. Come on board. It's a gentleman's club kind of where we just help each other in business, and we'll have some drinks. I don't really drink, and you'll help your family. It's good for connections across the planet, all the blah, 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 blah. And so I was like, okay. And all you got to do is memorize stuff and recite them, and you'll be good at that because you're acting talents. I'm like, all right. So I come in. The first thing they're doing is sitting me down, going like, we're really fans of your work. It's amazing what you wrote. We know you did. And they're telling me things like this, Mel. They're like, that whole thing with the towers falling. This is in 2004.
Let's be careful. Let's be very careful with those words.
Yeah, but they're saying that
they under the radar.
Pancake thing.
Yeah.
They said they couldn't believe that people believed it. They were telling me that. They couldn't believe people believed that.
People are a bunch of sheep. Okay. Yeah. And then they told me that. That's what they are. That's what they become.
Yeah.
They did it with the chemtrails. Now, 107 just sent me a message this morning about the chemtrails. Now they're actually determining now that these are very dangerous and they've been causing havoc on our health. Really? And there's been spraying us since really, 1996? Since when you wrote the movie, probably 30 years ago.
And cats actually go meow. Cats go meow. I think that study is just amazing too.
It's amazing, right?
That one, Ryder. Yeah, it's amazing. I was waiting for that to be released. I was just like, honey, wow, whoa. Yeah. So anyway, So the other thing he said at the meeting too was, and keep in mind, they're saying I can't track thought. I can't put 2 sentences together. These are the minions that follow and try to say this stuff. All he does is mumble. He talks too slow. He talks too fast. Well, I will talk fast because I think fast, but slow, I don't know about that one.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, at the meeting, he goes like this. He goes, don't try to make a difference. He says, you're one of the elite now, but don't try to make a difference. That's the only caveat, really. Don't try to make a difference for the others. I'm like, Well, I can't help that. That's who I am. I wrote my piece trying to make a difference for everybody. I can't
Sure.
turn that off. It raises the question, Mel, that whole thing that was raised up about, if you say all life matters, you're in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
I would attribute that also to the agencies doing that. They want us to be
Mm.
divided against each other.
Oh, sure.
And you're not supposed to say that we're all united and we're all one, which is the whole premise of my piece.
Right.
Even Barbara Walters said that she loved the Zion scenes that
Well,
I
I
have
would
here.
love for you. I know. Look, you got a lot of emotional baggage. There's no question about it. Okay, you're a
I'm
great
using
guy.
it. I'm using it for good stuff. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm going to
very
use it.
smart. You're very smart. You're very articulate. You're probably an incredible writer. I would love for you to. I look. It's probably easier said than done, but I would love for you to figure out how to shake all your demons and get back into it and really come up with some really good scripts that literally dwarf what you did
Already
with
got
that
him.
script.
Already got him. I haven't been demonized so much because what I got is I had a way to deal with all the horror. And
Yeah,
so if you look at me, I'm not this sniveling person.
sure.
I do it this way. I tell my mind, and I explained this recently, I put all horror into a section of the mind that I call basically the reference library. And Disney calls it library. So if you take the horror that you've experienced, and I think this will help other people too,
Mhm.
put it in tell your mind you're putting it into a reference section in your mind. Then your mind goes, oh, it's dealt with. So anything I've experienced can be used to help and do good. So bad becomes good. So anything that was horrific for me, like the death of the sons, goes for referencing when needed. Then your body and your mind goes, oh, well, at least it's been logically dealt with. And that's how I'm able to carry on without any stress at all. So I'm not carrying emotional baggage. I'm carrying award-winning novels that are
Mhm.
going to be, reference material.
Absolutely.
So
Well,
that's
I
where I'm
would
at. So
I would love for a lot of your work to get exposed properly at the right time because I think your work needs to get out there. You know,
it
I
was all
just
meant
got
to be. So
I
yeah.
just did a podcast with Lewis Herms. I don't know if you know who he is, but
Oh
Herms,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, Herms for Cali.com,
Mhm.
HERMS for Cali.com. Make sure you guys go support him. He's gonna
Yeah.
literally, I think he's gonna win California. I really feel very strong.
He's very charismatic. He's a great guy. I was at his conference, the one conference he had.
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah,
And he might be coming to the summit. If he doesn't come,
fantastic, great guy.
he's gonna come through Zoom. But look, I just showed him the little clip of the documentary regarding. He knows all about it. Okay, he's
Oh
like,
yeah, yeah.
Mel, I'm all for trying to get people their money back because look, at the end of the day, imagine if we have everybody in America is worth hundreds of millions of dollars and we can get their money back to all of them,
Yeah,
rightfully so, right? What a different country this would be. The thing is,
yeah.
they're rolling out the robots now because they have to. They have no choice. Artificial intelligence and robots, because they realize there's going to be a point where a lot of people in America are going to be extraordinarily rich. Nobody's going to go to work if you're worth 150 million, 200 million dollars, 500 million dollars. You're not going to go to work. You're going to stay home. You're going to relax. You're going to go to the gym and work out 4 hours a day. You're going to have a personal trainer. You're going to have a nutritionist slash chef. You're going to have somebody that take. Well, you probably have Elon Musk's robots that clean and fold your clothes and take your dogs for a walk. But now,
Not the way things are going, but yeah, I
yeah,
mean,
but
I
now
think
we're
Elon's gonna
moving
do
in this technological era. And, I hate to say it, but in a way, I really applaud the new lazy generation that doesn't want to work. It's not that they don't want to work, Tom. They just don't want to work the way you and I used to work. You
Mhm.
understand? And so they're
I'm
forcing this
excited.
by default. They're forcing this new technological era on us, which I applaud. What is wrong with having, a business where you can make money online? Well, there's so many ways of making money these days. Or you have a little sidekick or whatever, or maybe you sell your fruits and vegetables. You see, have too many fruits and vegetables, and you're able to enjoy your time with your family and friends. What is wrong with that?
That's exactly what I had written for also. And what we're going to have is AIs or actor AIs that are going to be working on our behalf. We'll have teams of AI as our assistants and working. That's in the screenplay too. So
Interesting.
that's right. I was felt the same way. I thought, why not have quality time? It's like they did this thing in the 30s or something where they started working people to death and the elite would have a nice
You're on a
life.
hamster wheel.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
work until you're
The elite,
65, and
that's
then
why
you're
they
on a
say
walker at
That's why they say
66.
that's why they say welcome to the elite. Every time they pull the chair for me, they go, welcome to the elite. Your life is over as you know it, the easy life. So, that's why they're trying to still taint me with be a script doctor. All I gotta do is be a script doctor. It is easy as hell to change up a script and
Yeah, how does
rewrite
Tom
it.
envision the future? I mean, do you see flying cars that could do Mach 17 with that are anti-gravitic, that have no mass inertia inside the
Absolutely.
craft?
Absolutely. We start with magnetism, which I was coming up with as a little kid when I was like 7 years old. I'm putting this little notebook about magnetic railway trains, and we're getting it now. So it's like, I mean, there are visionaries, those of us that actually had all these ideas and filled books with it.
But
Elon
they've
Musk.
had this all along, haven't they had this?
I mean, yeah, I think there's things stored away that we don't know about. There's all kinds of tech that was stored away. Apparently, what I tapped into, or what tapped into me for Neurolink and all the stuff that goes with it, was revolutionary. Now, it's other people are trying to spin it, and some of the spin people that are brought in are trying to say it came from World War II. No, it didn't. No, it didn't. It came from my work.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what it was given. That's why so much attention was paid to me, negative attention too, to try to destroy or own or buy off, or I don't know how many times the chair's been offered to me.
Tom, do you realize that the United States government has a patent on teleportation technology?
Oh, I'd be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised at all.
I'm just telling you, they have it. You guys can look it up, right? They have it. It's like, oh, well, if you roll out the flying cars, that's it. I don't know. Something really cool about having a car that looks like a Lamborghini that flies through the air at Mach 17 and can get you on the other side of the planet in right. Yeah. It's like, okay, but maybe after 7 months or 8 months, maybe I'll get tired and say, okay, you know what? Forget this Lamborghini flying bullshit. Like, give me the teleportation shit. I want to just boom, go from one place to the next, just like that. Right?
Yeah. You want to Chitty Bang Bang or George Jetson, it's all there, and then you can make it so it goes underwater too, like James Bond. It's really cool. Flying over the air, water.
But I don't want to miss that whole thing. You know what I mean? I want to be able to experience that and say, you know what? They hid that from us, but we were able to knock on the right doors. We were able to break their balls, and we finally got that technology to exist.
Well, here's the deal. When you're being protected, you know that you're being considered as, I hate the word asset, a visionary that's going to be utilized for possibly a better world, if that's where your heart has been clearly
correct,
pronouncing on the air for so many times. So they know where I stand and where my heart is, just like the character I wrote in the original piece.
Right.
I think they're getting tired of the Wachowskis and all these guys. They're actually going to bring another writer in. But the thing is, if the one agency is helping now, then we're on a good road. If they decide to do what they did in the screenplay, the CIA actually decides to do the right thing, which they do in the screenplay, and that was a download, maybe we're just fulfilling a timeline that was foretold meant to be. And that means I have protection now against the stupid minions. They'll be the last ones to let go of my heels. But then I will be able to see what could be good happening. So I don't feel any...
I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a common law attorney. I'm just a regular guy, but I have a tremendous, overwhelming amount of good sense, common sense, right? The bottom line is this. They took your work and they gave it to the Wachowski brothers and said they did it, not this guy, right? And have they been able to create any work from that point forward that was like even close, remotely close to what you created that they stole from you and gave to them since?
It's a good question. It was all just offshoots of my work. Like when the case was thrown and they did Disney held Oblivion for, Joel Silver with all those scenes, like the stadium scene was in there. Finally, the little girl, look at my daughter, is in there.
Right. I don't really technically follow anybody in Hollywood, right? I don't follow anybody there.
But Sense8, the Wachowskis actually announced Sense8 after my work was being thrown, my case was being thrown by these clowns. And they go, it's too big to write down. So they got $1 million deal with Netflix to do Sense8 without writing a word down because they had all my notes and all my drafts. So it's like they got to do their own takes, all of them. Warner Brothers, Disney also, Wachowskis, and Joel Silver all did their own takes. Oblivion, Elysium, Sense8, and then Altered Carbon, which is my premise, that the rich in the future have immortality, the poor is used as pawns. Joel Silver called that a mundane and laissez-faire back when the case was being monkeyed. And then what you have is, as soon as the case is thrown, he calls it the greatest sci-fi concept ever. At Netflix, which is where the executive that was at my deposition went over to be the person in charge of litigation content control at Netflix. And then the other one went to Paramount. So this battle between Netflix and Paramount is all Warner Brothers. So Warner Brothers is doing this. The reason that Warner Brothers is being spot out is because they know they're the ones we can focus in on for this Matrix case coming up to say, you stole it. So now they're dividing it between Netflix and Paramount. So what they're trying to do is say, we didn't do it, Paramount did. That's where you sent your executives that were at my deposition, to Paramount and Netflix, both. They both went to both places. So it's like, that's what's so wild about this is you've got all these presidents and different people like Obama, Trump, everybody else investing in Warner Bros. And Netflix. I mean, they're all one big group. I hate to say it, but they're all involved in the billionaires club. So what I'm looking at is I'm looking like in the story, I am alone in this story, the original Matrix. And then suddenly the CIA joins in and tries to help with Underground. We're at that point now. Now I can do it. So as far as emotional baggage, nothing, zip. I'm feeling very free and very excited about the future because finally I can be heard. Finally, I can make a difference and be the Neo I wanted to be, which is Thomas A.
Well,
Right.
I'd love to have you on my show more often, and I know that you've told your story on many, many channels, and it deserves to get out there. But my thing is this, why hasn't an attorney or a group of attorneys or a big attorney firm contact you and say, you know what, dude, you got such a strong case. I want to fight this for
He's
you.
the
It's
answer.
pro bono. Let's expose
He's
these
the answer.
bastards.
The FBI. The FBI has contacted witnesses, different TV stations. I mean, I was hot when I first came forward with New York Times and the LA Times bureau chiefs, Ethan Smith, New York Times. They were like, don't go anywhere. I got 2 reporters who want to talk to you. Then they got a phone call. Boom, boom. The paparazzi I told you about said, watch, Batman and Bill, that kind of thing, which was really helpful. They said that they were putting forward pictures they took of me and Aiden and 40,000 outlets or something, they said. And all were shut down simultaneously, basically overnight. The FBI shut them all down. So that's why the FBI works with Hollywood, and they're in charge of the pirating. You'll see them in the clips before the film start. They're also, what they did was they used that power to shut down the small guys, the actual visionaries, to benefit from Hollywood and get the Golden Globe tickets and everything else. So you got FBI actually as a rogue agency utilizing Hollywood as being the ones that are supposed to be the guards at the door, but they're gold cloaks like Game of Thrones. They're the ones that stab you in the back. So they are actually working for the Hollywood moguls and the cabal and the pedophiles. So that's why you don't see the attorney stepping forward, because you got Rankin, who has suspended license, the defense attorney. And he wrote a letter that he said, I have the letter, I'll have to show it on a program someday. The letter from Rankin to other attorney saying, let me know if any attorneys want to represent Tom Althouse, I'll talk them out of it. That's why.
Interesting. Let me ask you a question. I mean, are we allowed to, and you and I have off camera have discussed some of your CIA handlers, etc. Do you ever, did you ever call them out publicly as to who they are, etc., or no?
You mean when they're at an event where I'm at?
Yeah, like, when we had the last event, right? And they're trying to come again, and they're asking for free tickets, and they're trying to wiggle their way in. And we know who they are, but I'm just saying, have you ever publicly called these people out as who they are and how they were your handlers and what their role was in your overall? You're living like a real life movie.
Yeah, that's what Hollywood guys are saying too. They're saying like this movie is worth so much. That's why Warner Bros. Actually did the Richard Jewell story to test our validity of our story. They're actually going to come hat in hand, I'm told, after we have our victory. Now, back to your question. What I usually do is I go to the staff, like I did with your guys. So I'll tell them, this person's here. They're a handler. And what's interesting is I just found a document the other day. It's funny you said this, because I just found the document the other day right here. Let me hold this up, which is notarized. Commission expires. There she is. The Sue Clark person.
Yeah.
She wormed her way to be my power of attorney. Is that a handler or what? Yeah. And so this letter says, special power attorney documents registered Ontario, August 27, 2027. This letter serves as giving notice that Thomas P. Althouse completely revokes from this day on the special power of attorney status of Susan Clark, who works with CIA, and her alternate Tim, aka Len, as well as Lauren Stratton. They are no further authorities, say claims on my intellectual properties or association with myself, Thomas P. Althouse, my son Aiden Kamako Althouse. So it's signed. So it's interesting you said it. I just found this the other day. And what's interesting is they wanted control of my intellectual property to be my power of attorney. And that's the people that showed up there who were what was she said? She even said it during the question and answer. She said, yes, I worked for the CIA as their analyst for in DC on development of sonic weaponry.
Well,
guys.
Tom, have you ever heard that people say out there that Mel Carmine has the biggest balls in the world?
I don't
I
know.
I
I think
asked
yours and mine
her.
are crowned room here, but yeah.
I asked her point blank. I know her, right? I know her. I know her husband, etc. Right?
Oh my
Yeah.
God, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was on the phone with her, and I said, I said, so and so claims that you are a CIA handler. You've been his handler for a long time. Oh,
Yeah.
Mel, that's so silly.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Really funny, isn't it? And she's the one that said it at your convention. She said it on the floor of the convention that she was the CIA analyst in DC working on sonic weaponry. She said it at the
Yeah,
microphone. So yeah, very funny, isn't it? But the way they
unbelievable.
play it, isn't that crazy? The way they play it is too, they'll tell you to focus only on them. She's got my brother, Mark, as I think power of attorney on him, everything else, and got him bought, completely bought. She has my brother convinced that if he doesn't put the American flag on the front yard, our servicemen will die. That he will
Is
respond.
Susan Clark her real name, or is that the
Yeah, it's a real name.
pseudonym? Yeah, it is. Okay.
Her sister has this huge thing out in Malibu. Studios connected to Disney, so she had me stay there once.
Yeah,
So it's a family of spookies.
interesting.
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah. But I definitely don't want her there. I don't want to run into this person
Well,
again.
no, I mean, look,
They're a distraction. Did I
she's been
tell you what she
calling
said?
me.
Yeah. Did I tell you
Yeah.
what she said when she came up to me at your event?
Yeah, she called me and she's like, "Hey, is there any way I can get in
Yeah.
there?"
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Oh
"No."
my God. They'll go screaming, they go frazzled, they go nuts. There's all these things I can tell you. But when she came up to me at your event, she said this. She goes, Tom, in her frazzled way, like she looks like she's homeless. Tom, I got to tell you, I have a message from your children. I'm like, my children are dead. They're deceased. I got a message from them. I'm like, out of here. You don't mess on sacred ground.
Yeah.
I don't want her there.
No, no. And I'm going to do everything in my power to keep her out of there. And I will tell
Good.
our security detail to make sure that she doesn't come in.
Yeah,
So,
not a
yeah,
good person.
no.
No, not a good person. So,
Yeah.
and I'd said anyway. Yeah,
Brother,
okay. But anyway,
it's always such a pleasure to listen to the story because you've told the story in so many different ways and each one is so entertaining on its own merit. What we should do is maybe do a live live spaces on X and put a little thing out there that you'll be coming to get the word out. And that might be very interesting. What do you think
that
about
would
that?
be good, but Elon Musk, I'm told, cut me from X. I can't get on my X account.
You
So,
can't?
and when I do spaces on X,
Oh,
it doesn't let me have volume. It doesn't let me have volume.
well,
Elon
that's
Musk is
easy.
my nemesis.
I could set up an account and just send you the logins, and then
That'll work. That'll work. Yeah, if you give me a
you
different
know,
account, he won't tag that.
yeah, I'll have one of my staff members create an
Yeah,
account, and I'll send you a
we have a big
login.
battle over Neurolink and Neural Enhancer. So yeah,
No,
yeah.
they might ban me eventually, but I don't really care because they're
Don't worry about it. I
talking
don't think he'll
about
touch it.
talking about
Yeah,
censorship. I'm being censored on that channel like you can't believe.
yeah.
Yeah,
No, but yeah, if you create another account, I'll jump on that.
I'm a dangerous person.
Yeah. Oh, once more. Back to Sue Clark real quick. She
Yeah.
and Len were telling me on the phone when I was in Canada. They said, "You're Jesus. You're Christ. Do you know that? You're Jesus." I'm like, that's how they work. They try to implicate you by, even if you just like, how do you handle absurdity and delusion? It's like, okay, what do you say to a person like that does that kind of thing? Whether
Yeah.
it's orchestrated, acted out, whatever, or they actually believe it.
Yeah.
If I open my mouth to that, they'll be like, "Well, yeah, he didn't deny it." It's like, oh
She
God.
claims that she knows you since you were a little kid.
No, she didn't. We didn't hang out. No, she's in the area, which that's what they do. They bring in people that are in your area, and so they did that with a guy named Mark Colmer on Maui. I went to Maui, and they brought this guy who was born in Abington like I was, and he's this Zionist guy, and they sent him over to Maui to work in the same job I have. Mark
So
Colmer.
these are very dangerous people if you really want to get
Very bad, very bad. They play the lost puppy look, but there is nasty underneath. And when they go off,
they're calculating criminals.
they are. I'd say so. Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know what CIA stands for, right?
No, I have different thoughts on it, but I have to be careful now because from what I'm hearing from Michael Jaco and others, possibly, it's like they're actually looking out for me now. They consider that I'm actually worth. That it's better to join the good guys than the bad guys. FBI no, CIA yes.
CIA
So, yeah.
stands for Crooks in Action.
All right. I would say possibly come arounds, intellectually absolved. So yeah. So I would say yeah, something like that. I think they're actually coming on board now, which is what the screenplay says. Isn't that crazy? The actual Matrix story.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Anyway, great job,
brother. It was such a pleasure. Hopefully, you get Roseanne Barr to watch this. Hopefully, Roseanne Barr gets to watch my movie.
Well, she says she watches everything I do, so I think she'll watch.
I hope she watches the movie Dear Mr. President, Show Me the Money when it comes out, and I hope we can get an endorsement for somebody like her, because that would go miles and miles and miles, right?
Well, I'll tell you what, if there's documentary work done, I bet she'd jump in for sure. She's been so supportive, so sweet. Her son Jake too.
You know, I think she wants to see people. I like Roseanne. I think Roseanne's
the kind of person. Good prevail. She wants to see good prevail. And she's got a real heart, a true heart.
Yeah, she wants people. She wants humanity to succeed, right?
Yeah, she's for the kids and everything. I met her a number of times, and she's just as I thought she'd be. Totally, like she said about me. She said, "You're genuine, Tom. You're genuine."
Yeah, she's got a farm. I understand she's got a farm in Hawaii, and she works her crops and all of that.
You're selling the home there, but anyway, I don't want to go into her personal stuff. Right, but it's like, yeah. She's quite the lady,
Yeah, I understand she's got a place in Texas as well.
Yeah, she does. That's where we do our recordings.
Gotcha.
So I'll be heading up there again.
Are you in Texas also?
Yeah. We finally up to the safest state in the union. So Texas is.
Well, I come to Texas like 8-9 times a year. And next time I come, maybe I should.
Let me know. Let me know.
Yeah, where are you in proximity to, like, say, Colleyville?
Well, I'm outside Houston. Just east of Houston.
Oh, okay. So you're further down south.
Yeah. I'm near the Galveston area. So,
okay.
Yeah.
And she's down in Houston as well?
No, she's up midway, up in the middle state.
Okay.
But she gave me this pin. It was so sweet. She actually, after one show, she put a pin, which was topaz, I think smoky topaz, and like a diamond array.
Right. And how far is Colleyville from where you live?
I'd have to look it up on Google Maps.
No.
So.
Yeah, send me your not exact address, but address, and I'll try to figure it out.
I mean, the agencies know exactly where I am.
I know.
That's the amazing thing is that, there was that break-in in my home, like I said, where the original drafts were restored on my bed in my bedroom. So that nothing was taken. That was actually restoring my most valuable evidence. So, and that's attributed to the CIA film department. So anyway, yeah. So I have nothing to hide as far as address and stuff.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this, guys. Don't forget QuantumSummit1776.com. Tickets are still available. If you want to see Tom and maybe take him out to dinner or hang out with him at the meet and greet. Meet and greet is going to be on the 27th. If the tickets do get sold out, which that's a possibility, we don't know until we get towards the end. And you want to meet with us at the Twisted Tides, where we're doing martinis, karaoke, cheese sticks and wings and all that stuff. And yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, if anybody out there talks as fast as I do, we'll have a wonderful conversation. So, all right,
that's for sure. Thank you, brother. Stay behind if you don't mind. Thanks.
Right, take care.